Good morning. Day 13th, February 11th. It is lightly raining, but it's like 50 degrees, so I have a rain jacket on, but I'm sweating like a pig. We did, I can't remember, maybe 7 miles is all yesterday. And then got picked up and went into a shelter or into a hostel and got our clothes washed and got cleaned up and got some food. And then we kind of delayed our start this morning because of the rain, because we're going out for 4 or 5 days and just didn't want wet gear when it's, the nighttime lows still are maybe 25 for the next 3 nights. Trying to work on this little 55 miler to Fontana Dam, which is at the foot of the Smokies. So we are going to work on that for the next few days, see what we can get done. I still am only carrying 2 days worth of food because we walk right through an outdoor center that's right on the trail at the what they call the NOC, the Natahala Outdoor Center or something like that. I'm sure I got that messed up, but that's only about maybe 30 miles away. So we only brought enough food for maybe 2.5 days, and then we'll walk through there and get more food for the last few days. But it's fine. I mean, it's 50. It's warm. I'm not cold. It'll be a little cooler tonight, but nothing I wouldn't think unbearable. And I think the rain is supposed to stop about 11. So it's not supposed to rain on us long. So I guess a little bit of the problem is it's just not incredibly warm for drying stuff out, but we'll get everything spread out in that shelter and do our best. I think I might be there by, God willing, 3 o'clock or something like that. So I'm going to push on and try to get there so I can get my stuff kind of laid out. There's a few fires in this area right now. The night before, it looked like smoke in the valley we could see from our shelter. And then I got up in the middle of the night and you could see the glow. So I knew there was a fire. And then when we got into town, they said there was a fire, but it's not really anything close to where we're at. Really, we're kind of moving away from it. Plus it rained all night, so I think it took care of most of it. So all right, keep pressing on. So I have around 9 miles left to get to the Waya shelter. I think it's like 11:30. So I don't know. It probably, if I'm going 2.5 miles an hour, I'll be there in 3.5 hours or so, which should make it 3 o'clock, which would be good. Give me a little time to hang things up to dry, maybe a little bit. Now mostly everything needs to dry because I've been sweating for an hour coming up out of the gap. But if you just walk this, it's why we wear wool and polyester, because that stuff will dry fast. Cotton just stinks. It just stays wet forever when you're doing something like this, and your body heat will dry the clothes as long as you're not too cold. I'm perfectly comfortable. It's 50 degrees, so I almost went down to the shirt sleeves when I got to the top of the hill, and I resisted, and then you start going down, and I must be kind of getting closer to a gap because the wind is picking up. Usually when you get in these gaps, the wind just howls through them. So One of the things I'm learning is that there's all these microclimates when you're hiking. And so you think, oh, the snow's done for the day. And then you walk up another half mile and you're in a giant snow field. And then you'll think, oh, there's no more ice. It rained last night. And then you walk around the corner and, you have to either try to be real careful or put your spikes on. But yeah, it just changes all the time. And it's just different from one little mountain location to another. I don't know where I'm at right now. I might be at I'm up there a little, maybe I'll have to look, maybe around 5,000 feet or something like that, which is pretty high for this side of the country. But it will change all the time. I just, every time it's also like when you kind of, not so sure I believe in jinxing, but it's kind of like that a little bit where you'll go, oh, the trail's getting really nice. You say that out loud, then you go around the corner and it's just super tough. So you just got to kind of walk whatever's in front of you. It's always changing. But there's just a lot of beautiful stuff to see. I'm probably not a good enough, I know I'm not a good enough videographer to capture a lot of what's going on. I think as I continue on this and as I get better at some of the roles of backpacking as far as setting up camp, and as I get faster at all that stuff, I think I can devote more time to getting more photography and more video and just capture more of the essence of what's going on, including setting up camp. I will do all that stuff. I just, right now, I don't kind of have the time for some of it because I'm just, trying to get my feet under me 13 days in or whatever it is. So. It is really muddy today, so I have to really slow down a little bit so I don't bite the dust. This is from the top of Wyabald. This is the last little bit walking up to Wyabald Shelter, or not Wyabald Shelter, but Wyabald Tower. And I think this is 5,337 feet or something up here. I think the view is going to be awesome when we get up here. So we're just about up here. I'm huffing and puffing. I only have 9 tents left to get down to the Wyabald Shelter, where I'm gonna camp for the night. So this day is almost licked and not that much up left, which is good. There's a blaze on the side of the shelter, which means we are still on the trail. Sorry for all the heavy breathing, but that's what you get when an old guy climbs up 5,337 feet. Really pretty, kind of a 360 again. Go around the back of the shelter.